Welcome back to the JCPod, presented by Stare Down Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell. Man, Week 17, over. College football playoffs, one more game. College bowl games, one more game. Wow, this is a wild week last week. So yeah, without any further ado, by the way, Happy New Year. First 2024 now. Wow. I felt like the season and this year flew by. This is crazy, man. Crazy to think that we're already in the last week of the NFL. Thursday, I'll be giving out my last Pickem week of the year. That's crazy to think about, honestly. Time has truly been flying. So hard to believe, man. But yeah, without any further ado, today we'll pretty much just be going over NFL news and reactions to the week that was. Biggest thing about the pod today, probably be a little bit shorter because I'm not going to go into most of the teams. I'll talk about every team, but I'm not going to go into detail about some games. Like, for example, Packers and Vikings. I'll talk a little bit about the Packers, how Jordan Love might be the future, but they beat the shit out of the Vikings. There's not much to talk about in that game. So, yeah, that's pretty much what today's going to look like. We'll talk a little bit about the college football playoffs games that happened last night. They were actually really exciting. Both came down to a goal line stand, one in overtime, one in regulation. And sure enough, we have a fun national championship. Honestly, I'm very excited for it. I think I got the side I want to be on already. So, yeah. Without any further ado, let's hop right in. Gone through big news. So, this is Week 18. I'll go over it more on Thursday when I break down the games and everything. This is going to be the week of the people sitting. There's going to be a lot of people sitting. For example, like Chris McCaffrey, he had a calf strain. He's for sure out now. Harbaugh's undecided if Lamar will play. Mason Rudolph, he's going to end up being a starter. That's for sure right now. But mainly because the Steelers do need it. Some more sad news, honestly. By the way, the Dolphins got absolutely blown out by the Ravens. That's going to be an interesting one to talk about as well. But in the blowout, Bradley Chubb, torn ACL, done for the year. That's tough for a team who's trying to... get some momentum going into the playoffs after winning against the Dallas Cowboys going into that game. The NFL's not going to change the eligible procedure after the Cowboys line controversy, which what it sounds like is, I don't know. It sounds like the Lions did do it, apparently. Like, I'm confused. Apparently one person called another guy eligible when they were coming to the referees, and that's where I got confused maybe, but I don't know. We'll see there. I have honestly no clue. I think the Vikings are actually in a playoff spot too now. No, I actually think, like I said, with the win, I think the Vikings are in a playoff spot. The Chiefs clinched. Mike Tomlin is for sure going to have another winning season. Apparently, I want to see this video, sorry, but apparently David Tepper was angry and was throwing, David Tepper was tossing drinks at the Jaguars game after his Panthers team basically got destroyed. Yeah, I think we got through most of the news, honestly. Yeah, I don't think there's anything other big. I think of the Ravens and 49ers both clinched the 1 seed. Bears locked up the number 1 overall pick. Those were both two big news. Oh my gosh, I can't stop yawning. Will Levis has a foot injury now against the Texans. Von Miller with a healthy scratch. Brissett was hurt, so Howe ended up starting again, which I don't think ended up mattering at all. But yeah, that basically does it for NFL news. Like I said, there wasn't anything too big that's come out yet. I think most of the big news is still yet to come. Especially the sitting lines, most of the news when it comes to people sitting and everything, that's gonna be coming up this week. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So you're gonna hear a sweeper in the background. That's gonna be annoying. And I have to cut like 2 minutes of me just yawning. So we're already off to a great start this morning. But yeah, we're gonna go backtrack a little bit to go through Week 17. We're gonna start with the Thursday night game. All right. Sorry about that. I just got completely mistracked. So we'll go right back to what we were doing. This is actually a fun one Thursday night. Real quick. The game started out. Browns scored. I think on their opening drive, I want to say. And then this was a fun one Thursday night. Browns started off right away. Joe Flacco marching down the field. They get a touchdown with Jerome Ford. Then Breece Hall answered right back. Kareem Hunt answers back with a touchdown. Then the Browns got an interception return for a touchdown. And then second quarter, Elijah Moore got another touchdown pass. Then the Jets got an interception touchdown. This is about when it's like, okay, maybe the Jets actually might be able to hang in there with the Browns. And then I think basically right after that, in the second quarter, Joe Flacco threw another touchdown pass. Greg Zuerlein got a field goal. No points in the third, and by that point, it's like, all right, this game's probably over. But yeah, shout out to the Browns, man. Browns looked really, really impressive. I'm pretty sure they clinched a playoff spot with this win, which is holy shit. Okay, we're gonna try to quick side note. I've had to blow my nose about 15 times. I've had to stop this about 4 or 5 times because of other stuff going on. Hopefully, we can finish now. No, going back to this game. Browns, it was just a really impressive win by the Browns. They beat the Jets. They get their playoff spot. That's the big significance of this game. Jets fall to 6-10. They aren't going to make any changes. They're pretty much prepping for prepping for next year. Excuse me. And this is that's pretty much what the plans are. Lions Cowboys. I touched on this game briefly. If you didn't see it, this game ended in a little bit of controversy. The first score of the game, besides a field goal, was a 92-yard bomb to CeeDee Lamb. The Lions pretty much come out blitz. Dak just throws it up. The corner ends up slipping, and CeeDee, after catching the ball in the corner, slipping and missing a tackle, CeeDee just runs to the end zone. Nobody touches him all the way in the end zone. It's a touchdown. Lions answer back with the Montgomery touchdown. Then goes a field goal battle. Dak scores to Brandon Cooks. Jared Goff answers back to Amon-Ra to tie it, and then this is where it gets interesting. So they have a chance to tie. They just need to kick a PAT. They go for 2. This is where the lineman apparently reports as ineligible, or apparently one lineman reports another one as eligible. Apparently there's a miscommunication. He wasn't eligible. So they get it backed up. They try to go for it again at this point. They don't get it, but then there's a foul penalty on Dallas. Excuse me. Penalty on Dallas. So the Lions are like, all right, whatever, okay. Run another play. It's like, okay, why are we running another one at this point? The third one didn't go through. They ended up losing. I felt like that third one was like the football gods like, hey, you have your chance to take your PAT now. We'll get you back for that. Go to overtime. And they probably should have gone to overtime with all the momentum they did have at that point, but they did not. And sure enough, they end up losing. The biggest question I just had in this game is like, I wonder. So a little theory I had is the reason they went for 2 is they already clinched the playoffs. So like they didn't really have too much to play for at this point. I mean, at best they're playing for I think 2-3 seed maybe. If the Eagles continue to lose out, so they really didn't have much to play for. So that's what makes me wonder. Like, did they just continue to go for 2 because I mean the game really didn't matter to them too much, and they might as well just try to steal it at that point? That was my theory for it. Because besides that, I felt like they should have maybe gone to overtime. But I could also see like, hey, let's just try to win it at this point. We don't need to play extra football. We might as well play for the playoffs. If that was what they were thinking, kind of get the mindset there. If not, I don't get why they kind of went for it 3 times in a row. They should have just played for overtime. But doesn't matter. Jared Goff didn't have the best game. He had 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Dak Prescott flipped that, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not a horrible game at all. CeeDee Lamb was the big story of the day. 13 receptions for 227 yards and a touchdown. The Lions just couldn't stop him. CeeDee Lamb just went absolutely nuclear. So shout out to CeeDee Lamb for that one. All right, so now we'll start burning through some games. I'm going to go through the list, what they have it here. So like I said, some games we'll talk about a little bit more than others. Rams Giants. We'll touch on this one just for the fact that it was actually really, really competitive. Shout out to Tyrod Taylor. Kyron Williams finishes with 3 rushing touchdowns. This game should have been put away at 10. I had Rams minus 5.5 that I gave out, which ended up being minus 6. And it pretty much gets screwed by Giants punt return. 3:49 left. There was a bunch of mixed tackles. A lot of missed tackles in the punt return, so ends up the Giants are making it 25-26 because I believe they missed the extra point. Oh no, sorry, they went for 2. They got the extra point and went through. There was a penalty, so then they decided to go for 2, and they didn't get the 2 points. The Rams ended up winning by 1, which is really, really close game. So shout out to the Lions for at least making it competitive. But this was a big win for the Rams, who are now looking to get into the playoff picture. Like I said, at the end of this scores breakdown and everything, I'll go over the playoff picture, what it's at exactly now. Because Week 18, man, we got some teams that are fighting for playoff spots. And the Rams, they might have helped themselves out a lot with this win here over the Giants. It was really, really close and scary. Because, yeah, there's other teams we'll talk about in a minute, Eagles, that struggled against some of the more worst teams in the NFL. So, yeah, this was an interesting Sunday, especially, too. A lot of these underdog teams kept a lot of games close. Speaking of another game, an underdog kept it close. The Colts-Raiders. Colts ended up being favored by 3.5, almost to 4 by the time the game started. They win by 20-23. Jonathan Taylor scores the opening touchdown, which is then followed by a field goal. Alec Pierce gets an absolute bomb from Gardner Minshew. He's starting to come on especially with these deep shots. You're starting to see him get at least 1 or 2 deep shots a game that are just huge for momentum. Did Michael Pittman have 8 receptions, by the way? He did not. He had 5. So his NBA Jam, all that stuff's over. Awesome. All right. Just want to make sure. But yeah, Devontae Adams, I think, ended up having 2 touchdowns this game as well. 1 in the third quarter, 1 in the fourth quarter, 46 seconds to make it look a little bit closer. The Colts were able to get up about 7-10, and then they stayed up about 7-10 for a majority of the game until that very late score. Yeah, it was just a very impressive game by the Colts. The Colts played a lot better than they played against the Falcons. Especially against the Raiders team that's been playing really hard and tough, so that makes me really happy out of what I saw, because as much as the Raiders' record might say that they're a worse team than they are, they actually have been playing a lot better. They're 7-9. I think they honestly are a 9-7 team, the way they've been playing, especially with Antonio Pierce at the helm. But like I said, they're 7-9. They didn't play the best offensively. The Raiders did not. The Colts by no means played the best offensively either, but 96 rushing yards for Jonathan Taylor, 224 for Gardner passing a touchdown. I can't complain at all. I just wish they could have maybe put an extra point or 2 on the board instead of kicking field goals, but not bad at all. Alec Pierce shut out 1 for 1 for 58 and a touchdown. That's a pretty good stat line. No, but apparently it's going to be a big week ahead until week 18 too. That's what I just got to tweet. Yeah, before we continue on, real quick, this is a tweet by Tom Pelissero. Historic Week 18 ahead for the NFL. 20 teams are still in contention for a trip to the Super Bowl, which ties the most for 1 week remaining in the last 41 years, since a record 22 in 1982. So for the first time since 1982, we got 20-plus teams ready for a chance to make the playoffs. Yeah, this is going to be awesome, man. This is going to be really, really awesome. Going to be a fun week. I mean, the Colts started... I can't wait to talk about it. Colts-Texans on Saturday. That's a playoff game. Winner might have the chance to win the division, but they have a chance to for sure be in the playoffs. This game we can just go over quickly. 56-19. The Ravens get the 1 seed, absolutely blow out the Dolphins. The biggest thing was turnovers. Tyreek Hill ended up missing a. This game was kind of back and forth for a bit. Tua and Cedric. Is it Cedric Wilson? Yeah, Tua. Those touchdown pass to Cedric Wilson, then Lamar answers back by throwing a touchdown pass to Justice Hill. And this is where it felt like the game flipped. They did have Tyreek Hill open to the touchdown. Tyreek Hill kind of bobbled the ball, so he didn't make the catch. So Dolphins were forced to a field goal, which then Gus Edwards scored a touchdown. Dolphins then forced to another field goal, and then it was just touchdown for Zay Flowers, touchdown likely, touchdown for Dolphins 18, touchdown Ricard, a rushing touchdown for Gordon, and then at the end a garbage touchdown pass from Huntley. Lamar had 5 of them things in the game. Fantasy Super Bowl MVP, maybe. Might be Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, I know, killed the guy in our league. Because 12-man this year. Lamar Jackson scoring about 40 is that's going to hurt. But yeah, big game by the Ravens. This was basically they destroyed the Dolphins. They beat the 49ers really bad. This looks like a team that's looking to do some damage, man. Like I said, they're probably going to sit, like I said a little bit earlier, they're probably going to sit Lamar for the first half. Or sorry, not the first half. They're going to sit him for the Week 18 game. They're going to get a little bit of time off. And it's going to be really good because they're going to need the time off to get a few extra guys healthy. Allow some guys to get healthy. Enjoy the first round of rest, man. Because usually, I won't lie though, the first round bye is usually an issue. Usually for most teams, they hate to come in the bye. I feel like this Ravens team, they could really, really use it. They got a lot of guys banged up. The only thing they can see that sucks for them is momentum because it's like the team is just clicking on all cylinders right now. So I'm sure they would love to play another game and get the playoffs started already while they're hot. But that's the only thing they have to worry about is losing this heat during the layoff. But if they don't, shout out to the Ravens, man. That is clutch getting the 1 seed for them. They have looked like the 1 seed team also all year in the AFC. They look by far too like the best team in the AFC, even with losing Mark Andrews, who now might actually come back. There's a rumor he might come back for the playoffs. I don't know what round it would be, but it's gonna be interesting if we see Mark Andrews back now, since for sure he basically has 3 more weeks to heal till they have a game, because I doubt a lot of the starters are gonna end up playing against the Steelers on Saturday. Titans-Texans. Texans win 23-6. Will Levis ends up getting hurt again. I don't think I need to talk about much more. C.J. Stroud, 230 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah, they end up winning, which is really good because the Colts end up winning as well. So now this Texans-Colts game, like I said, it's for a playoff spot, man. Texans-Colts, Week 18, Saturday night, in Lucas Oil for a playoff spot. Woo-wee. I'm excited, man. Can't wait. I cannot wait. Seriously. It's going to be a good matchup. Really excited for my Colts. Hope the Colts can get it done. It's going to all or nothing for Week 18, man. For the right to probably lose to the Dolphins. We'll see, man. I don't know. The Dolphins. I mean, I feel like AFC. I feel like it's kind of wide open because you've seen the Dolphins play bad. Like, they're going to be at home now, so there's a chance they'll probably play decent. But, I mean, we've seen the Dolphins play bad in some weeks. So, I mean, hey, this could be a huge game for the Texas Colts because, yeah, winner probably is going to be playing. Winner's probably playing the Dolphins in the playoffs. Yeah, we just talked about that game. Sorry. Bills Patriots. Patriots start the game off with a kick return, then touchdown. Josh Allen, I think, had 2 rushing touchdowns this game. They also had an interception return on defense that helped out their scoring. It was 21-27. I mean, the Patriots kind of kept it close and lingered. I don't think they were ever really a threat to take it over, though. It felt like every time they were about to, the Bills just did something. That Zeke touchdown, too, is what helped make it 21-27. It was 14-27 before that point. Pretty much the game was all but over. But they at least made it close, made it a little bit more respectable. Huge win for the Bills, who are looking now to second in the AFC East. With this Dolphins loss, they actually have a chance to steal the AFC East, which is wild because, what was it? It was basically like, about 5-6 weeks ago. I was sitting on this show talking about, man, are Buffalo Bills broken? They might just be not a team that's going to do anything this year. I had an article that I started prepping that's like, are the Buffalo Bills broken? I was going to post it, and then I ended up holding off, and sure enough, they went on a run. So I'm glad I held off because I wouldn't look like a dummy there. But yeah, 27-21, big win for the Bills, who now have a chance to not only make the playoffs, but potentially win a division. That was a big news coming out of this game. 49ers, Commanders. Not much to talk about here. Commanders only score 10. They don't look too impressive. 49ers drop 27. Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, gets a touchdown robbed, which you hate to see. Shout out to Elijah Mitchell, who came in for the injured McCaffrey, ended up scoring. Brock Purdy, 230, 2 touchdowns. Sam Howell, 169, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. I mean, there's generally not much to talk about at all. The 49ers handled business. I'm pretty sure they covered as well because they were 14-point favorites. So, I mean, they just handled business, did what they needed to do. Now that they're the 1 seed, it's going to be interesting to see how many people rest next week. Losing to the Ravens, and they're playing the Rams. I feel like we'll at least get guys playing for at least a half, if anything. But I don't know if they'll play more outside of half. We'll have to see. Jaguars win 26-0 against the Panthers. I don't think we need to talk about that at all. It's not too surprising at this point. Panthers, without their own pick, it's going to be a rough season going forward. Saints, Bucks. Saints actually win this game to put themselves at 8-8. They're second in the South. If the Saints win next week, I'm pretty sure they control their own destiny and they can still somehow win the division if they win next week. I think the Bucks are in a similar boat. They play the Falcons next week. Bucks play the Panthers. I don't know who has the tiebreaker, actually. I would assume the Saints might. Okay, so they both split the game, so I actually don't know who has the tiebreaker now. But it looks like the Bucks are going to win against the Panthers, so that's 100% going to be them. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that the Saints have the tiebreaker. I could be totally wrong, but I was under the understanding that the Saints did have the tiebreaker, so if the Saints can find a way to manage to beat the Falcons, I believe this division is theirs to hold. The Falcons, the only thing they have to play for next week. By the way, not going to talk about that game. They got blown out 37-17 to the Bears. I mean, shout out to the Bears, man. I'll talk about the Bears in a minute, but for the Falcons, stealing a win would be probably a good way to end their bad season. It was also a bad season. This was a team that probably should have won their division. Realistically, they had a chance to with all the talent they had, and they just had quarterback issues. And the coaching here and there was a big issue. Yeah, like I said, shout out to the Saints, who went up pretty much 20-0 before the Bucks had 2 late flurry scores to make it somewhat interesting. But yeah, Saints win. That division is going to get interesting. Saints and Bucks both 8-8. Going to come down to next week. Who's going to win? Who's in with the win and who's out? That's going to be really interesting to talk about. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about the Bears too much. Shout out to the Bears. They'll go finishing 7-9. 7-9 is really, really impressive for this Bears team that started off absolutely horrendously. If you don't remember, I mean, Matt Eberflus was gone and fired by week 11 or 12. This team 3-4 lost their first 4 games. Started off 1-5, 2-6, I think, 2-7. This team started off about 3-8 or 9, and they've rattled off. Let's see, they've won 4. They've won 5 of their last 7, 4 of their last 5. This Bears team is hot. Shout out to them, man. Truly. Shout out to them for such a strong season. They looked a lot better than now, and also they got the number 1 pick locked up with the Panthers loss, so they have a lot of questions going into the offseason. Do we keep Justin Fields? Rumors are he's the next Atlanta Falcons quarterback. Do we draft Caleb Williams? Do we draft Drake May? Do we trade down for more assets? There's a lot of stuff the Bears have to look forward to. They got one more game next week against the Packers, which I think they could potentially hold the Packers up a playoff spot, so they're probably going to play as hard as they can. But yeah, after that, then they're just going to have it's going to be a fun offseason for the Bears. They got a lot of moves to make, and it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do. Seahawks, Steelers. This is actually a really interesting, fun back-and-forth game. Steelers scored first, and the Steelers basically, after they scored, they had the lead or held the lead and held momentum, it felt like, for most of the game. Anytime the Seahawks were able to make a big play, it felt like the Steelers were able to answer right back, which is really good for them because they finished, like I said, 9-7. Mike Tomlin's going to have another winning season, even though this is probably one of the worst Steelers teams we've seen yet, performance-wise. They just kept finding ways to win in a lot of these games. And they find another way to win again, sitting at 9-7. Like I said, we'll talk about the playoffs in like 4 games. I only have like about 4 more games to talk about, and then we'll go over that NFL playoff picture. Because I'm pretty sure that they're fighting for a wild card spot. The Steelers are, and meanwhile the Seahawks are 8-8. That was a huge loss for them because I'm pretty sure that elevates the Packers into the question now. It's like the Packers might steal their wild card spot. Because with the 49ers locking it up, the Seahawks have no chance to win the division. Same with the Steelers. The Ravens locked up their division, so the only way these 2 teams are getting in is the wild card. And it's a very, very crowded wild card on both sides. It is getting jam-packed. Like for the Steelers, I know they have to win and hope like the Colts they have to win. I think they need like a Colts loss because I think the Texans winning would knock them out. Like there's a few scenarios. I'm going to read it out. I think I saw Ian Rappaport tweet something out about it, so I'll be able to read that out for everyone. Chargers-Broncos, not a lot to talk about here. It basically felt like a field goal fest. It was Easton Stick versus Jarrett Stidham. The Broncos they're 8-8. They're going to finish second in the AFC West, I think, regardless. So shout out to them. 8-8. After what was a horrendous season, getting 70 dropped in their head, 8-8 isn't too bad, but they've sat in rust. It's gotten really loud. So they're in for another wild offseason. John Payton's called out everybody, including himself at this point, it seems like. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do, because, I won't lie, this game was just not interesting at all to watch. Every time they went to it, like, nothing exciting happened. 16-9, not an interesting game at all. Packers-Vikings, we're going to skip the Bengals. I guess we'll talk about this real quick. Bengals-Chiefs. Chiefs end up holding on strong to win. They end up playing a lot better. The biggest thing that's going to be an issue, though, Harrison Butker, they had 1 touchdown and kicked 6 field goals. They win the AFC West title, but they're going to have to win a game other than kicking field goals, man. To score 25, only scoring 1 touchdown is really impressive, honestly. It just felt like there was a lot of big drops when they needed it most. It felt like I don't know. It's just this Chiefs teams, man. Shout out to Pacheco, who had 130 on the ground. He was their big weapon this game. He was able to do a lot. Rashee Rice, 5 for 127. Also coming into the form. Those 2 looked really, really, really good. Travis Kelce, looking like Travis Kelce. I wonder at this point if they might as well just save him for the playoffs. I wonder if there's no way he plays next week, I feel like. I feel like they're probably just going to let him rest, give an old man rest day. I really wonder if Travis Kelce is going to turn it on for this playoff run, because he has been oddly quiet to end the season. I know the Chiefs haven't been the same, and I know he's older as well, so that affects it a little bit. But, man, that's going to be, I don't know, just weird season. Weird year for Travis Kelce. Then, last game of the night, Sunday Night Football for New Year's, 33-10 blowout. The Packers just absolutely manhandled the Vikings. Yeah, this was beyond predictable once they said Jaren Hall was starting. Once Jaren Hall was starting, I couldn't get on the Packers quick enough. I think I gave them out in my show. I think it was the only straight I gave out that won. Falcons did not win. Rams did not win. Or Rams did win. They didn't cover. And then, who was that last team? We gave out, what was it? Bucks did not cover. Nope, not a chance. Falcons did not cover. Man, I wish I took Jags minus 6.5 now instead of marking it off. It would have helped out a little bit. But shout out to the Packers, man. Big win by them. That's pretty much does it for the week. Because of that Packers win, like I said, we'll start with the NFC wildcard picture first. First, the playoffs started today, which they pretty much are going to start a week from today, man. I can't wait to break down the playoffs. It's going to be wild. Especially with some of these matchups we got. Because right now we got the 49ers on a bye, which means the Cowboys are playing the Packers in the first round. Lions playing the Rams. Jared Goff versus Matt Stafford revenge games. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be really fun. The Bucks play the Bucks play the Eagles, which will be a very interesting game based on where those teams are at right now. Ravens, they're in with the 1 seed right now. They're on their bye, and then we got the Dolphins versus the Colts. Bills, Chiefs, that's going to be a fun one. The Jaguars, Browns, that's going to be an interesting one. Personally, if I could see it all well, I'm not liking what I've seen from the Jaguars this year. I'd love for the Jaguars to lose, Colts to win. Colts face the Browns again for a chance at a revenge game after the wild and weird, the weird 2 penalties they had in the red zone for the Browns to win in like week 10 or whatever it was when they played the Colts. But if that's the case, for looking at the wild card, we got the Colts at 9-7, and then right behind them, the Bills are at 10-6, and then right behind them we got the Steelers at 9-7, Texans do have the tiebreaker, by the way. Texans 9-7, Steelers 9-7, Broncos 8-8, which they're eliminated. So yeah, Steelers and Texans 9-7. Both of those teams need a win to make the playoffs. The Browns have a chance to hold out the Steelers if they win, or sorry, the Ravens. The Ravens have a chance to hold out the Steelers if they win. Colts, if they win, they hold out the Texans. If the Jaguars lose, the Colts win the division. If the Jaguars win, the Colts stick at the 7th seed. There's a lot going on in the AFC, a lot on the line. And then you go to the NFC, the wild card situation. Rams are at 9. The Eagles are locked in at 11-5. Rams are 9-7. Packers are 8-8, and then you got Seahawks at 8-8. Saints at 8-8. Those are the 2 teams with a chance. Saints, like I said, they play the Buccaneers. The Seahawks, I play the Cardinals, who just came off a huge win against the Eagles. That's the game I skipped. I totally missed that game. Eagles lose to the Cardinals. That might be. I don't think I need to go into that game too much. The Cardinals played really well. They played the Eagles as impressive as you can get. Shout out to Gannon for a win in that game. Gannon looked good. Gannon looked good coaching. I liked what I saw from them. But yeah, because of that, the Eagles pretty much bump out of a home playoff game to a wild card. So due to that, they'll play. Like I said, they play the Bucks. But yeah, the Saints have a chance to do something. The Seahawks have a chance to do something. The Bears win. They hold the Packers out of the playoffs potentially. So that could be a little bit of momentum for the Bears. The Rams, they're in. They just need a win. They play the 49ers. So it's going to depend who the 49ers rest, because I don't know how tiebreakers work. There's a chance the Rams could get bumped with a loss, so I'm sure they're going to be looking for a win. It's going to depend how many people play for the 49ers too, depending how easy that win should be for them. Yeah, I think it's going to do it for the NFL, man. I gave you all the scores. I gave you all the standings. Yeah, 1 week away. The real fun episode is going to be next week. This feels like, I'm not even going to lie to you, this feels like almost like a bridge week. Because the NFL, like I said, moved from 17 to 18 weeks. So, like, week 18, there's going to be a lot more guys sitting, a lot less teams playing for stuff. So, next week's going to be the fun one, and come and be like, hey, I can't wait, man. I'm just thinking about it. I'm going to be coming on the show. We'll break down all the scores. Probably after. I'll probably talk about playoffs first, honestly, to lead off the show next week. Because, yeah, that's going to be really exciting. Because after the game Sunday, everyone plays Sunday. For example, like except for Colts, Texans, Ravens, Steelers. Those two teams play Saturday. Colts, Texans, playoff game. These are some of the important games for Sunday. Like Rams, 49ers. That's going to be important. Falcons, Saints. Really important. Jags, Titans. That's for a division title for the Jags if they can win that. If not, it's going to somebody else. Lions, Vikings, not much there. Bucks, Panthers, that could be potentially for division. That's huge. Cardinals, Seahawks, that's for a playoff spot. Bears, Packers, playoff spot. Eagles, I think need to win, and they can still get. If the Eagles win, I believe they get home field. Potentially could be wrong about that. Washington plays Cowboys, play Commanders, and Bills, Dolphins is the night game for the division. Dolphins are 11-5. Bills are 10-6. I think the Bills beat them first game, if I'm not mistaken. The Bills won the first game. So if the Bills win, the Bills are division champions. Wow, what a way to end Sunday Night Football. But yeah, that does it for the NFL. We'll go down now to the college ranks, man. Woo-wee! Michigan, Washington for the Natty, baby. Go Blue. I'm going to be on Blue for that game. I think I really liked what I saw from Michigan against whatever you call it, against Alabama. I liked what I saw from Washington, too. I thought their defense played a lot better. But seeing some of the stuff we saw in the run game, I'm excited to see how this Michigan run game looks against Washington. But yeah, man, bowl season's over. I lost the Alabama game. Let's see, real quick, to end bowl season, before I break down this college football playoff game. I gave out Arizona. They covered. That's a win. Kansas State, gave them out. That's a win. I already think I marked those down. Talking about Friday. Ole Miss, they won. That's a win. There's 3 games. Alabama's lost. I think it went 5-2. 5-2. Kansas. Sorry, excuse me, not Kansas. Alabama, SMU were my only 2 losses. I won with Kansas State, Memphis, Mizzou, Ole Miss, and Washington, which is really awesome. So I think I need to add 3. I think I need to add 3 wins to the board and 1 loss for my record, which is the case. 22-8. That's what I went in bowl season betting wise. A good old record of 22-8. What a bowl season, man. Let's try to finish it with a 23-8 record betting on when we bet on Michigan. But man, this is honestly a really fun bowl season. I'm last year of this bowl season before we go into the 12-man playoffs, and I wonder how that's going to change the bowl system completely. Man, what a fun year, man. Honestly, it's been a really fun year in college football. I'm probably going to use a little bit of Thursday to reminisce a little bit, and I'll also do it Tuesday as well when we talk about the national championship. Because, yeah, next time you see me on this feed, not only will we be talking NFL playoffs, we'll have a national champion, man. Because, yeah, that's today. Oregon blows out Liberty. Tennessee blows out Iowa. LSU sneaks away against Wisconsin. And then the big ones, Alabama, Michigan, goes into OT. Really back-and-forth game. Alabama answered first with the touchdown, and then Michigan answered right back with a touchdown. Michigan's another touchdown. Alabama field goal. Alabama rushing touchdown. Alabama field goal. And then on a 2-minute drill, J.J. McCarthy, who apparently plays better in the bigger moment. It looks like it. I heard Tim Tebow saying that on the Pat McAfee or MegaCast, whatever it was. It seems like it. J.J. McCarthy played really well, looked really impressive. Gets a big score, lead them down. Then they goes into overtime. Blake Corum gets an insane 17-yard touchdown run, and they were able to stop the Crimson Tide on 4th and goal. 2 timeouts called, and they run a basically QB power where I don't think he was getting in regardless, but with a QB power, Milroe got his leg hit by one of his linemen, so he basically clanged his legs together and he got tackled. So that was the end of that game. Michigan moves on to the national championship. This was really, really competitive and defensive battle, which was really awesome to watch. Which then we flip to the offensive battle. Washington gets a touchdown, then Texas gets a touchdown. Washington gets a touchdown, Texas gets a touchdown. Washington gets a touchdown, Texas gets a touchdown. And then this is where Washington pulls away. Washington gets another touchdown, then Washington field goal, Texas touchdown. Washington field goal, Texas kicks their field goal to make it close, and then try to get the ball back, and they do not. This was a really, really awesome game. Washington ends up moving on, just barely. This is a very good back and forth. Washington basically held the lead every time. They held the lead, tied, and then they were just able to finally get the lead. And then when they got the chance to play out in front, they absolutely killed the clock like they've done all season. It truly was an impressive game by the Washington Huskies, and like I said, I'm very excited. I said on my show Thursday, I had no pick in between these teams. I literally just picked Alabama because they were the dog. If Michigan was the dog, I would have took Michigan. Now I'm mad at myself. I didn't take Michigan live, honestly. Same with this game. I was all over Washington just simply because they were the dog, and then they just never gave up the lead, so I was just able to sit comfortably with them. Yeah, man, it was really, really awesome. Michael Penix kind of got robbed for the Heisman, huh? Makes you wonder about that. But yeah, shout out to the Big Ten who are going to have the national champions. Regardless, the Big Ten's going to have the reigning national championship since the Pac-12 decided, you know what? Let's get out of here. Let's disband this conference. Wild to think about that the Pac-12 is going to have a potential champion in the last year of its existence of what it was. That's truly wild to think about, man. Really, really wild. But yeah, that's probably going to do it for today's episode. Nothing too crazy. This felt like, I won't lie, this felt like, you know how in the Netflix series or like TV series in general, they have like that one filler episode before all the big stuff starts? This kind of feels like that. It feels like we've had a really strong like first like six episodes of the season, you know, up to week 16. Week 17 was a lot of fun, but it felt like, you know, this is episode 7, filler episode, where we get everything set up for the finale in week 18, man. Finale next week, and then we get the college football playoffs on Monday. We get NFL action Sunday to lead into the playoffs next week. Man, I'm excited, man. I truly cannot wait. This is the best time for football. We're basically in the fun time, man. Everything matters. College football playoffs are on the helm. We need one more game. One more game. And then for the NFL, we got playoffs about to happen. Very excited, man. My Colts have a chance to make the playoffs. The Colts haven't made the playoffs in about 2 or 3 seasons. So it'll be even fun to get a chance to root for them, even without a disastrous season they've had injury-wise. And just in general, man, NFL playoffs are awesome, man. It's just hard to believe that's already that time. I'm still like, it's hard to speak about because it's like, man, we really are to the NFL playoffs. Because, yeah, after this, like I said, my boy Ron's going to be start appearing on this show more often because it's college basketball time now, man. Crazy thing about, we'll still talk about football on this show, obviously, but it's going to be a lot. I don't know what we're going to do, man. It's going to be a lot. Short episodes are going to be slightly shorter. We're going to be talking a lot more college ball. Because, yeah, like, we got basically a month left, man. Month left. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for support. Really do appreciate it. Feel free to check out Stay Down Sports if you want to catch up on some news going around the sports leagues and everything. It's going to be a great year for Stay Down Sports. I'm very, very excited to see what's going to come from it. And also, again, shout out to everyone. Hope everyone had a good New Year's. Hope everyone had a good year last year. 2 days into this year, we already have a podcast up. You love to see it. Very excited for what's to come this year. Very, very excited. Have a lot of hopes. Have a lot of stuff I'm building towards. Like, for example, next season for football season. This is the last season of this background. My next football season, I have a new background. Hopefully, we'll be able to tinker with some stuff throughout the summer while we build towards next season. But yeah, we ain't talking about next year just yet. I know the new year just started. Talking about some of the future stuff, but no, we still got NFL playoffs to. We still got some NFL playoffs to finish. We still got some business to finish. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the support. I'll see everybody on Thursday for, you guessed it, Pickem Week 18, last week of the year. Basically down 12. I don't think down 30 for first place, down 12 for third place, down 10 to 12 for third place. So big week. If I'm able to have a strong week to end the year, Pickem's mine, and I can elite. Not for the potentially if I do that good, but as long as I can do somewhat decent, we'll be able to steal third, which is the goal at this point. Because yeah, I just had a bad middle of the season. I missed a lot of big numbers this year. Had a good pick year, bad with big numbers. But yeah, like I said, Thursday it's gonna be Pick'em. We'll go over my one college bet. Wow, we'll go over the one college bet, maybe some props I like for that game, and then we'll go over the NFL and what to expect from that league when it comes to props, players, games, what to expect, everything for Week 18. But that's the plan for Thursday, so I will see everybody back in this feed for then.